Rates. Rates are how we charge for our rooms. We can have multiple rates for each room. This is just an example of my rack high rate for my deluxe rooms. So I have a description, a revenue class, how it gets taxed, the deposit rule and cancel rule, how it gets charged, and a nice description, a marketing description that the reservations clerks can read out to the guests. This particular one is commissionable if commissions can be paid. We're not going to show this one on the rate calendar because we're always willing to sell it for our rack high rate. Zero rates are not okay. We're allowed to do overrides. That is, if you have a permission to do an override, you can do an override. And this one we will show on our website. This is the background information or header information. The sequence number will describe where in the selling list this rate will appear. So a lower number makes it higher in the list, a higher number drops it down the list. The actual rate we're going to charge will be season dependent. I have 3 seasons in my year, a high, a low, and a mid-season. The dates of these are defined elsewhere, but for my high season, I have a different rate for each different day of the week, although for this rate it's the same. For other rates it'll vary by the day of the week, and it varies by the number of people in the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and extra past 6 people. So here's how we vary it per day of the week. Here's how we vary it for the number of people, and we have one of these records for each season. If we have a supplement for children, we will charge that as well. So very, very flexible in terms of how you can put this together. This particular rate now is my rack high deluxe. I look here and I specify which rooms this rate is going to be suitable for, and in this case here it's a double deluxe and a king deluxe. If I go and look at my rack low rate, we will see here it looks very similar to the rack high. We have a different deposit rule and a different cancel rule, and I have a not available above 70%. So this is a reactive rate, which means this rate will automatically turn itself off when we get to 70% occupancy. It will no longer be offered as a rate for the clerks to sell. Further, we're not going to show this on our website because, of course, it won't always be available. The rate's going to be a little different, of course, in here. It's about $25 a night cheaper, but however your rack highs and rack lows work in your property. And it's going to be for the same room types because this is the rack low deluxe versus the rack high deluxe. So those were a couple of the sort of the walk-in rates. Now let's take a look at how we would put a package together as a rate. So being able to bundle together a room plus some other stuff. So I have a basic description, a code and a description, my deposit rule and cancel rule, a nice marketing description again. So this will look quite similar to what we did for our rack high deluxe. And we're going to specify on the rate tab how much we're charging for the room portion of the package. So that's what gets specified here. Then we're going to have specific objects or package elements that are going to go onto this package. So for my spa package, I have Aveda products, and I'm allocating $2 of my revenue. Bathrobe and slippers in room. I'm not charging extra. That's just like a comment line that'll appear on the reservation. I have a full buffet breakfast. I'm allocating $12 to the breakfast, a quantity of 2 because this is a double occupancy rate, and that's going to be charged each day. We have 2 one-hour spa treatments, and we have a VIP setup. This VIP setup means the room will have certain amenities put into it when you set up, and that has a meaning for you. Varies from property to property. These particular package elements I have marked as show with room. That means I'm going to combine the room rate plus all of these items here to show the guest a single number. Okay? And under the covers, it's going to show all the detail to be able to do the revenue allocation to all these different things. But to the guest on the guest folio, it'll roll the numbers up to one figure. So very, very flexible. You can add the items that you have to add are defined by you. Whether or not you do show with room or not, again, it's up to you. Whether or not this is a charge once or charge per day of week. So very, very flexible in terms of how you can put your packages together. You're really only bound by your imagination when you do this. We can also specify qualified rates. In this example here, I have a corporate rate for a deluxe room. This is corporate tier 1. I also have a corporate 2 and a corporate 3. And I'm specifying here the sequence number is different. It's a little higher. I'm turning this off after 85%. But the main thing here is it's marked here as a qualified rate. You have to be somebody to get this rate. So again, we're going to specify what's going to be charged per night here, much the same as we did for the others, per day of week, and the number of people, and based on the season. But this particular one, this is a deluxe rate, so again it's for my double deluxe and king deluxe, but this time I can specify which of my agents or which of my corporates will get this rate. And this is actually done as we hover in here. You can see the hint that comes up says enter or delete in the enter edit agent program. So when we define the corporate, that's where we tell it which rates that corporate will use. Is this a tier 1 corporate, a tier 2 corporate, or a tier 3 corporate when we set the rates up? So the thing that matters is that you have to be somebody. This is a qualified rate. The other thing I wanted to show you is a confidential rate. I'm going to use the Finder here now to go and search, and I'm going to scroll onto the bottom of my file to find a wholesale rate. You can see some of the other rates I have in my file. I have monthly rates, weekly rates, I have a seniors rate, timeshare rate, and there's my wholesale rate right there. I'm going to select that one. So what's interesting about the wholesale rate, it's qualified, you have to be somebody, and it's confidential. By that I mean this would be a rate that you might sell to Expedia. So if you sell to Expedia for $100, Expedia in turn marks it up to $120. Your guest has paid $120, you've only got $100. So confidential rates appear in a different color in the reservation program, so your clerks can tell what's up with those so that they don't reveal that number to your guest. This is an example of a reservation that has a confidential rate on it. You can see the totals at the bottom are in a different color. When we go to the rate tab, they're in a different color as well. Again, it's a visual reminder that these are different colors, and everywhere where you see the rates, they'll have this blue color on them, as opposed to regular rates or non-confidential rates that show in a regular type color.